Thick mud squelching, relentless rain hammering against shattered metal, the crackle of localized fires. Xylar's breathing is no longer a rhythmic electronic hum, but a ragged organic wheeze. We are in the dirt. The flagship axiom of logic is now a shattered, burning ribcage embedded in the crust of the Terran death world. I am recording this from beneath it. I have dragged my fragile limbs under a twisted sheet of transparasteel to escape the rain. The atmosphere here is a nightmare. Heavy, wet, crushing. Every movement is an agonizing calculation of leverage and strain. My primary neural node is fracturing. I can feel the logic slipping away into the mud. When the flagship fell, our surviving ground troops deployed from the wreckage. Even in defeat, they were magnificent. Symmetrical phalanxes, harmonic shielded infantry, precision pulse rifles, elegant defensive geometry in the mud. We expected the Terrans to surround us and demand a formal surrender. We had lost. The math dictated the war was over. But humans do not wage war. They wage proximity. Noise, pressure, momentum. The distant percussion of human kinetic artillery, a low, continuous rumble that vibrates the ground. They did not march in formations. They crawled out of the blasted tree lines, coated in the filth of their own planet, using mud to mask thermal signatures. Our troops fired from optimal algorithmic ranges. The humans answered with an impenetrable wall of lead. And they were not alone. A deep, guttural growl, followed by vicious snapping jaws and a chorus of howling. I saw them through the smoke, quadrupedal predators, thick fur, tearing teeth, dogs. At first, I assumed the local Deathworld fauna was attacking both sides indiscriminately. Then I saw a human gesture. The beast obeyed. It flanked our shields, leapt the barrier, and tore into the throats of our infantry. I watched a human soldier stroke the predator's head after it crushed a grand arithmetician's skull. He called the beast a good boy. Who domesticates a biological weapon? What kind of species looks at a flesh-eating apex predator and decides to form an emotional alliance with it? They do not merely weaponize force. They weaponize attachment. They bond with ships, with animals, with places, with each other. And that is why they do not break when civilized species should. The deafening chatter of a human machine gun, followed by the shriek of an alien plasma lance discharging. I witnessed a complete collapse of biological logic in Sector 4 of the crash site. A Terran soldier took a direct hit to the torso from one of our plasma lances. The heat cauterized a hole through his body. The equation was absolute. Organ failure, shock, death in seconds. I watched the thermal signature begin to fade. He was dead. The human beside him disagreed. This second human dropped his weapon, fell into the mud, seized the dying soldier by the harness, and began striking him, screaming, cursing, commanding him to remain conscious. He invoked the names of their packmates, their home, their unfinished obligations. And the dead man listened. The wet, tearing sound of a human gasping for air, accompanied by the desperate shouting of medics. I watched the thermal signature flare back to life. The dying human's body flooded itself with adrenaline and rose again on a body that should have remained still. He picked up his weapon and fired until the barrel physically melted.
We retreat when the odds are 3-1. This human was mathematically deceased and asked for a medical patch so he could reload. A barrage of heavy kinetic impacts strikes metal nearby. Our phalanxes broke. You cannot maintain elegant geometry against an enemy that treats fatal injury as a scheduling problem. My unit was overrun in microcycles. I watched our tacticians drop their weapons and kneel in the mud, projecting the universal harmonic frequency of surrender. The humans did not understand the signal. They beat my tacticians to death with the wooden stocks of empty rifles. I ran. I abandoned the logic of the council. I abandoned the mathematics of my ancestors. I dragged my long, fragile limbs through freezing rain and hid beneath this wreckage like a terrified larva. Heavy footsteps splashing in mud, growing closer. The sound of a human breathing, deep, wet, exhausted. They are here. I can hear their boots. I can smell their sweat, ozone and blood. A shadow is falling over my shelter. It is a human. Massive. Its armor is scarred and dented, plastered in the filth of its homeworld. Sweat pours down its face, mixing with the rain. It has found me. The screech of tearing metal as the wreckage is physically ripped away. Wind and rain suddenly roar into the microphone. The math is simple now. I am an enemy commander. My forces killed their civilians in the void above. My probability of survival is absolute 0. I close my eyes. I prepare for the impact. A long, tense silence, save for the rain. Then the soft rustling sound of heavy fabric being unfolded. What is this? Fabric being gently draped over something. Zylar's voice is trembling, reduced to a whisper. It did not shoot me. The human looked at my shivering limbs, at the blue fluid leaking from my fractured exoskeleton. It reached into its harness, not for a weapon, for a blanket. The clatter of a metal canteen being unscrewed, water sloshing. Now another one is approaching. It is offering me water. A third is kneeling in the mud beside me, applying chemical foam to my fractures. The pain is receding. They are speaking to me in low, hushed tones, the same tones they used to calm their animals. I do not understand. My neural node is rejecting the data. We came here to exterminate them. We dropped burning wreckage onto their cities. We killed their packmates. Why are they healing me? Zylar hyperventilating now, the sound of a mind unable to process a fundamental shift in reality. They are lifting me, carrying me out of the rain, their dense arms supporting my fragile frame with horrifying gentleness. The grand arithmeticians thought human kinetic weapons were dangerous. They thought adrenaline was the threat. They were wrong. This is their true weapon. They can hate you enough to break themselves against your hull, and still choose not to finish you when you fall. How do you defeat an enemy that fights with the fury of a dying star and then forgives you in the mud? I am a prisoner of the Deathworlders, and for the first time I am not merely afraid of what they can do. I am afraid of what they are. The audio feed cuts abruptly to a soft, rhythmic static.